I've been able to build SaaS businesses that has had thousands of users, but I've never actually spent more than maybe $50 launching something. And I'm kind of terrified to spend money on advertising because I feel like I could lose a lot of money from doing that. But I know that I'm losing a lot of money for having that mindset. Right now, my most recent SaaS business that has 9,000 users relies solely on watermarks as a form of advertising. But like I said, over the years, I've spent between $0 or $50 when I make a SaaS business. That can be hosting, that can be domain, that can be as little as possible to stay as cheap as possible. I think that's a great thing for prototyping, but not so much for when you have validated the idea and know that people are willing to pay. And I need to kind of shift away from that mindset and start spending more money on advertising and feel more comfortable letting go and sponsoring a couple of people to use the website and promote it in, for example, YouTube videos or all different sorts of things that could get more eyes on our platform and more qualified people who would be willing to pay. I think that free advertising is great, and like I said, we've grown to 9,000 users, but I feel like there's a limit to that. Now, if we could advertise in, let's say, a YouTube video that gets 10,000 views, 20,000 views, that's going to be a lot more than watermarks, and those people might also be more qualified if we advertise in other niches where we're not yet prominent, or in other niches that are relevant to what we're doing. And I think this is something that you kind of have to consider. You can do it two ways. You could either go into it and not try to make money from the start, just acquiring customers, and then eventually when you have customers and when people think it's cool and when people are using it, that's when you start to like monetize and get money off it. Many platforms, let's say Facebook, didn't run ads for a while and just it grew and grew and grew and made it cool, but then after a bit they started doing more of the ads thing. Meanwhile, platforms like us, we kind of went in for the money at the very start. We have 3 different plans that are paid. We have one free plan, and the free plan is kind of restrictive. When we now have money, and I feel like the math kind of changes. Now we can afford to spend money on acquiring customers and also spend money on making the customer happy and having them stay. When we had $0, it kind of made sense to spend $0. But now that we generate money from them, then I feel like we should spend more money to keep them, decrease our churn rate, and have them more happy. How I feel when I spend money is that it's kind of wasted. I spend money and I don't really see the return on the investment. But I know that's not true. Just because I don't see it doesn't mean that something isn't happening. And that's where I kind of need to shift my mindset and allow myself to spend money. What I've been recently working on, I'm going to start spending money on ads. It's not going to be a lot. It's going to be like $150, $200 at most. But it's a step forward to make more money and also scaling and learning. And I'm sure that these $150, $200 that I'm going to be spending now won't be spent in the most optimal, best way, but I will learn from what I'm doing. And then when I've learned from that, I'll be able to take another $100, $200 and spending that and keep learning, keep improving. And you'll learn through practice. And I think that's very true in business, and I think that's very true in life. So now that we have product market fit, I think it's time to spend money, and I think it's time to spend money on things in general, because now I have a lot more money as well. And I'm able to invest and not trade my time for the money. That's kind of all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.